Fall is such a beautiful time with all the color from the trees, and of course mums are associated with fall too, but now you have a little bit more of an opportunity to add some fall color to your landscape, and that's through planting asters. Now, asters are starting to show up in garden centers, but people still aren't quite sure what they need to do with them and if they'll even grow in Oklahoma conditions. Asters really originated in North America, so they're a native plant to North America. But a lot of the research is being done in the United States, but more so in Europe, but there's a lot of new cultivars coming out. Now when you plant asters, they really need to be in full sun. Now you'll see these have a little bit of shading pattern on them right now, but you can get by with a half-day sun, and these get afternoon sun, so they're going to be really in the hottest part of the day where they get the sun. When you plant them, you need to plant them about 18 to 24 inches apart, and in most cases I'd probably suggest 24 inches because these look pretty small right now, but that's because they're new plants that we just put in and got from the store. They are going to get much larger and fill in the spot, and we've got one over here that's not blooming yet, but it's easily 2 feet, a little bit more in diameter. Now the other thing I'd caution you about when you plant asters, they will attract bees and insects much more than mums will. So if you're going to put any in, try to keep them away from walkways and entrances into your home or landscape because of the fact that they will attract a lot of bees and insects. Also, you need to keep in mind that asters sometimes will get pretty tall for you, so you may need to pinch them back as they grow through the summer, but some people will even stake them. And when you go to the garden centers to purchase some, they make it easy, both in asters and in mums. A lot of times they sell them in containers that are the color of the bloom, so you know whether you're getting a yellow, a purple, or a red flower. And also you'll see here, this particular variety is crimson brocade. It's a red color. Notice it's already opened up. It's what we call an early blooming cultivar. The next one over is what we call a late blooming cultivar, and it is going to be sun top. It's a little bit darker pink, and you can see some of the color just showing it's going to be loaded with blossoms. There's all kinds of buds on it. And then the one on the very end is what we refer to as a mid-season cultivar, and it particular one is Sunshine Garden, and it's a pink or a lighter pinker color. So you can get 3 different bloom periods from the asters. Now, also as a general rule, the asters are going to bloom anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks earlier than mums. Now that could be a little bit misguiding if you're getting, say, a late blooming aster and an early blooming mum. You may get a little bit of overlap. But if you compare these with the mums that we have in our garden, remember last year we introduced you some of the new Prophet series over in our other bed. And we had a little bit of trouble with them because some of the armadillos came in, dug them up. We also had maybe a little bit of winter killer, got the mulch too thick, so we don't have that many left. But with those particular mums of the Prophet series, they're more mounding, really a dome shape, and we didn't do any pruning to them whatsoever, and their buds are just now starting to show up. And the only ones we have left are Linda, Denise, and Robin. And again, the size is real impressive, and the color is going to be spectacular. And they're quite a bit bigger, even though they're more compact. They're much bigger than they were last year when we put them in, and that's just what a full growing season will do for them. And we've taken some cuttings and we're trying to fill in those holes from the particular plants. Now we also have a new planting bed right over here with some of the other mums that have just been released from the Prophet series. The Prophet series, the total number of cultivars now is up to about 45. They just introduced 7 more this year that range anywhere from a yellow to a golden yellow, purple, and an ivory color, and we have several of them planted here. About, say 12-inch spacings, a little bit closer, probably more so than we should, but we really like to pack them in. Now the thing you want to remember when you go and purchase mums this time of year, you may get some that are tall and leggy like this. And if you'll notice, they have flower buds on them. It's really hard not to want to leave those on to bloom. If they're more compacted, I would leave them on, but one like this, they're pretty tender. I would go in and break them off, pinch them off, so you'll get some safety on them and won't break them off at the ground and lose them. The other thing about the mums is the color is just spectacular, as well as a flower style. You'll see some mums, like this one here that's Claricotis over here behind me, it almost looks like an aster the way the flower is, but it's truly a chrysanthemum. And that's another change in the industry. It used to be chrysanthemum was the genus species, Chrysanthemum morifolium, but it's been changed to Dendranthema grandiflora, and that's because there was a mix-up earlier on when they labeled chrysanthemums. So you'll need to be aware of that if you're asking for the genus species of these particular ones. Mums also like full sun. They'll take a half a day sun or part shade, but prefer more sun. Well-drained site, just like the asters. And also, if you're going to pinch them to keep them small, which you still could do even on these dwarfer ones, you need to stop that both with the mums and asters by mid-July, because that's when you need to let them start setting the flower buds for the fall. Also, one thing I want to encourage you, you're going to see a lot of these showing up in the spring with flowers on them. They're more selection in the spring and probably can get better established ones in the spring too. But the reason they're blooming is because they've triggered them to do that through greenhouses with short days to get them to bloom like that. So if you purchase some that are blooming in the spring, chances are you won't get them to do that every year. That's just a one-time thing. And also, if you plant them this time of year, which you still can successfully do, a lot of people, once the hard freeze comes and kills them back, they want to trim that dead off. Even the growers out of California, like Yoder Company, which supplies so many of ours, they encourage you to leave the dead growth on it. It doesn't look that attractive, but you'll get them to overwinter much more so. It helps insulate it. It also will help hold leaves and things in there to help them overwinter. If not, you need to mulch around them as close as you can. But before you add any mulch, make sure that they've been killed back from a hard freeze, so you'll make sure you can get them to go dormant for you. If you do it too early, you may have problems too. But boy, the color schemes are fantastic, both in mums and asters. Check your garden centers. Now is a great time to pick out the colors that are just right for your landscape.